Hey dreamer, hey guys, hey survivor. If you enjoy my audios and if you believe that they could help somebody, please do not forget to share. And if you're just stepping in here for the first time, I hope you listen all the way through. And if you like it, check like. And if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing because I have various ways that I present content about narcissism, narcissistic personality disorder, and the effects it has on us all, particularly us survivors. So today, guys, I want to talk about not the soul tie. I really wanted to talk about the soul tie, but that is in my download. When you get to the course, You Can't Hurt Me No More, the self-love kit for empaths who love too hard. And I get deep into that soul tie because there's so many aspects to that. But today I just want to talk about the trauma bond and forgiving ourselves for the trauma bond, but also to discuss what it feels like for anybody out there who may be bonded, traumatically bonded, and may be feeling, alone, or like, wow, when is this gonna end? And the trauma bond is so difficult, and I'm going to give you some tips here today, and they may not be easy things to follow, but I'm going to give them to you anyway, and I'm going to tell you why, I work so hard at bringing awareness, just in general, just poverty of mind, poverty of spirit, being affected by narcissism, and just how we tend to just give up on our lives, because it's like there are predators out there. There are things in the universe that will come for your life, that will come for your spirit, there's just gonna come for your belongings, things that don't even belong to them. They're just gonna take it, because the one thing about our universe and our life, everything really is perfect. I know this is going to sound crazy, but in order for our universe and just the way that we are and how we exist, it can't be all good. It's just not going to be all good. We need both to keep the balance, but we have to keep the balance, and we have to make sure that we're not getting swallowed alive, like how this trauma bond can do. See, the trauma bond feels like this. Either way, let's say you were left by a narcissist, picked up and discarded you like they do, or if you were strong enough and wise enough and courageous enough to walk away from the narcissist. And then you may find a couple of weeks later, or maybe even a couple of days later, when the narcissist decides to maybe go silent on you or disappear. Maybe he wants to punish you for walking away. And the more days that go by, you can feel the pain from that trauma. It's like for me, I remember it was like something in my chest, like a little electric, painful, weary sorrow kind of pulling, That's what it feels like. It feels like that, the residue of a funeral, and it's like you're so hurt. It's like that kind of hurt that you're like, wow, I can't fix this. That's what it feels like. And you're like, I'm thinking about this thing, and what can I do? It's just like a helpless kind of thing. And what I want you to remember is, especially those of us who were traumatized as children and not given proper love and respect and space to grow and to be ourselves, I want you to remember that feeling. Take a minute. Because this is not a new feeling. This traumatic feeling dates back to maybe one of the first times that you were so hurt, whether it was from a father, mother, or caretaker. You were so disrespected and you felt so misunderstood, but you felt trapped, like there was nothing you could do. You couldn't defend for yourself. You couldn't protect yourself. You totally relied on these people. You couldn't pack up your luggage at 5 years old and move out and go get you a job or a partner. You weren't self-sufficient. You completely relied on people who disappointed you. And I'm not trying to be mean or disrespectful or undermine our parents or the people in our lives that may have hurt us before we were able to take care of ourselves, but because we know that people can only be who they are. And when we're born and we come into this existence, we meet people as they are. We have a soul contract to work through these experiences to come out with a solution for mankind. This is what we're doing here. Okay, so I'm just bringing it down a notch and speaking about how we feel as human beings before we even know our spiritual power, before we can tap into it. The trauma bond freaking hurts. And it can make you just feel unworthy. And it can just make you feel like hopeless. And this is because this is how we felt at one time. It is a wound. It is a wound that must heal through self-love. It is a wound that must heal through practice and meditation and going back in and forgiving your inner child and forgiving those people who hurt you so much because they did not know, they were only where they were. But this trauma bond with the narcissist is the same thing. And so you're sitting there and you're feeling this pain because in your higher mind, you know that with this disappointment that you're dealing with, you know that you are capable of doing something with your life and moving yourself forward and climbing up the mountain and making it to the top. You know this. The narcissist knows this too. You know that you are accountable for yourself. You can take responsibility. You can do the hard work. You can do whatever it takes to heal this trauma bond and make yourself feel better. At some point, you know that you will be free again. You know that life is beautiful. And though it's raining and it's thundering and it's hailing and it's hitting you all in your eye, it's smacking you in your head, you know that that weather is going to ease up on you. You know that the sun is going to come out again. You're going to meet someone, or a family member is going to do something great for you, or you're going to get a surprise phone call, or you're going to get a raise, or all of a sudden somebody is going to tell you how much they appreciate you and they're raising your salary. I mean, something is going to happen, and you know this. And so does the narcissist. Because the narcissist is incapable of being, first of all, self-sufficient, second of all, self-reflective, third of all, definitely not willing to hold him or herself accountable for what? They're not able to do that. In order to hold yourself accountable, you would have to take off the mask. You would have to reduce the grandiose and this whole idea of being the best thing since sliced bread and nobody's better than you. You would actually have to remove that to self-reflect, and that would really hurt a narcissist. They may even self-implode or die because everything that they are is against that. And so because of this, the narcissist must do things, whether they're silent rages, silent treatments, spiritual abuse, disappearing acts, not calling, creating this painful silence. They must do that. They must do that to regulate their emotions so that they could have the thought fuel that they need, knowing that you are suffering. And that's what I want to tell you. That's what that trauma bond is. You feel that energetic suffering being ping pong back and forth between you and the narcissist, because on some levels, though I said I'm not going to discuss the spiritual tie right now, on some levels, on many levels, the trauma bond is a spiritual issue, biochemical issue. And so there's a lot going on there, right? So the way to break that is going to be difficult, but the way to break that is to think about what you love. I swear this helped me. What do you love? Do you love to write? Do you love to cook? What is it that you love? Whatever it is, You have got to pull yourself towards it, and you have got to focus on it. You have got to make yourself do it. And eventually your subconscious mind will attach to that thing, and it will allow you to free up. You know, like I roller skate. I love to skate. It's one of the things that I could do aside from writing and creating content and stuff like this. It's one of the things in editing. I love to edit and make movie stuff. But it's one of the things that I can do, like literally until I pass out. And so you gotta reach in, because before the narcissist came, there was something that was all yours. And this is what the narcissist does. The narcissist tries to strip you away from other things that are all yours. The narcissist wants all your attention on him or her, because they know that anything else that you love or that may satisfy you or bring your attention away from them is something that can cause them to lose power over you. They don't want to lose power over you. The trauma bond is just a way for the narcissist to keep power over you, because remember, long ago, or even if it was recently that this tragedy happened to you, you need to forgive yourself. You need to forgive yourself, because how on earth would you have known that someone was actually hooking you, stabbing you with infectious, poisonous, spiritual, psychological, and emotional hooks that were deceptive, and that this person didn't really mean that they loved you. They didn't mean any of that. They just was trying to get you to latch onto them so you could become narcissistic supply and not good supply. A lot of people think the narcissist loves the idolization stage. No, that's only for a minute. The narcissist loves the idolization stage temporarily. Yes, it's fun. It's a fantasy. But don't you know, in the back of the narcissist's mind, he is aware that he is stuck in a pattern. He knows that idolization stage won't last. He's a liar. She's a liar. They're stuck in a pattern. This much they are aware of. They are not unconscious on that level. They are aware that they run through people, they destroy people, they hurt people. Everything behind them is just a destruction on their path. They know this. No, the narcissist creates the trauma bond because the narcissist values most of all the potent negative supply. And the trauma bond is what allows the narcissist to always be able to tap into negative supply. Particularly if you're someone who is uneducated about narcissism, someone who doesn't know, and when the narcissist calls or finally does come back around, because they will come back around, they always do, they're in a pattern. That much is predictable. When the narcissist finally does come back around, if you're irrational and emotional, you'll either cry or curse them out or be angry or be overly concerned. This is supply. This is negative supply. So you have to forgive yourself. You have to forgive yourself because you didn't even know. You have to reach into that inner child and forgive yourself for not knowing, for being in situations where you had to face this kind of traumatic experience to be able to learn that there are people out there who are predators. Think of it this way. This is how I think of it. When I went through the last narcissistic situation with a greater narcissist, it was very, very short and brief, because I had been through so many narcissistic relationships before I knew they were narcissistic relationships, and before I understood the metaphysical, spiritual, social, and subconscious mind, and the psychosis, my own psychosis that was causing me to attract to these types, be attracted to these types and not be aware of it. Before I knew all of these things, hold on, I lost my train of thought. Before I knew all of these things, I was an oblivious kind of prey, and I would find myself in dysfunctional relationships, in relationships where I was not getting what I needed in terms of a reciprocal response to my dreams, my goals, the love that I was given, the effort that I was putting in, whatever it was. I just stayed in these relationships for so long. And it's not that I regret any of these things, because I now believe with all of my heart that it was a soul contract that allowed me to raise up from the dead, to raise up into Christ consciousness. I am resurrected, and so now I can deliver information to a certain group of people that needs it, whoever you are. So whatever happened, it served a purpose. But now, when I was seduced by this greater narcissist, had I not went through those experiences, I wouldn't have been able to brace myself. I wouldn't have had that night when I bust out crying out of nowhere and said, something is not right. And I couldn't put my finger on it. And so the reason I'm mentioning this is because, let's say I didn't have that short-lived narcissistic experience with this high level, very, very dangerous, I had already known that, extremely dangerous, a history of a lot of power, and intellectually manipulative. This was a greater narcissist. This is the top of the line that I had ever thought I would come in contact with on this level. Had that not happened, where I predict that I will be in terms of my work, in terms of my efforts to humanity and people who are abused, and hundreds of thousands of people that I plan to reach out to and be able to work with, had I not had that experience, I would not have had the tools to move into the next level of public space. You see, I am going to do a video called There's a Devil for Every Level. Look out for it. See, if I hadn't had that experience, I wouldn't be prepared. I wouldn't have got the knowledge, the wisdom, the ammunition, that pain that I got from that greater narcissist, that shock and devastation that I had been tricked and lured and manipulated and seduced after all of the relationships that I went through, after how deep and high I was in my transformation of self, and to still find out that there was a part of me that still needed healing. My inner child still was not completely healed with all the work that I had done. This person was able to create a trauma bond, though not as strong as the ones that I had suffered with before, but enough that I had to tend to it, cure it, and realize now that narcissism is a real thing. This person woke me up. Experiencing the level of trauma bond that I experienced let me know that God was trying to prepare me, that because the next level that he was going to move me to, they were going to become more and more sophisticated. Let's think about Tina Turner for a minute and the level that she was on. Let's think about Mary J. Blige before she became this mega superstar. But even before she was this mega superstar, she was still a superstar in my eyes with what she went through with Casey JoJo from Jodeci, that abusive, narcissistic, relationship. And there are many others that I won't mention here because I'm going to do some celebrity narcissistic relationships to bring attention on this thing. But I just want to let you know that sometimes you have to experience the trauma bond. Is because we learn through pain. Do not forget, when you fell off your bike the first time, you were more careful the next time. The next time you were like on point. You knew me myself, I knew which hill not to try to travel down until I had more practice, I was more focused. I stopped running my mouth and screaming at my friends while I was on my bike and all these different things. But here's the other thing. Stop trying to figure out why and what is going on with the narcissist. This is what the narcissist does. This is the narcissist pattern. If anything, when you heal, learn to develop a distant empathy for the narcissist who is stuck in a perpetual state of hell. Round and 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 round the narcissist goes. Same pattern, different person. They can never get out. They're condemned there. They're damned there. They're condemned until they wake up and realize that they have a choice. That they have a choice. Until we collectively find a cure, a cognitive therapy, a way to walk the narcissist back to his true self. Until then, stay away from the narcissist and heal your trauma bond. Love and light. If you think you're ready to surround yourself with other survivors and dreamers and a supportive group of people who want to support you and share their stories and hear your story and be able to tap into your spiritual resources and recharge your ability to create something great, like perhaps you want to do a podcast or something like this on YouTube, or you want to create a website or develop an outline to write your own book or script, shoot a movie, all those kind of creatives. That's what we do over in my members website at Dreamer to Doer. It's also where the You Can't Hurt Me No More self-love kit for empaths who love too hard 12-week digital course is hosted, and every Wednesday I come in my private Dreamer to Doer VIP suite that I pushed over in Facebook in a private group, and I come in on Wednesdays and we really get discussions going, and I get to answer questions in depth, way more in depth than I am willing to do, or even as much allowed to do on my social media platforms and public forums. So I hope to see you over there. And please, if this trauma bond or someone you know is experiencing a trauma bond, let them know they're not alone. And how about sharing this video? And as I said earlier, press like. If you like the video, prove it, press like. If you subscribe to my channel already, I want to thank you again. If you haven't yet subscribed, I promise you I will bring you very thoughtful videos and audios, and so you should have a look through there and subscribe.